Well, 3 years ago I was diagnosed with cervical cancer when I was 20 years of age, and it just wrecked my life, just turned my life upside down. I've got a daughter to look after, you know, and you've been told you've got cancer. You never think that you'd get diagnosed with cancer. When you do, it's just the worst day of your life.
And cervical cancer is
And cervical cancer is just, it's just ruined my life.
Because it's not one of the cancers that's talked about.
No, it's
reported as much, it seems, isn't it?
No, it's not aware of cervical cancer that is out there, and it's affecting young women. It's affected me, and it affected me when I was 20, so cervical cancer is out there and it's affecting people, and people are obviously having signs and not even realising that it could be cervical cancer.
So when they told you, after the shock, how did you sort of come to terms with what cervical cancer meant?
Well, I never looked into it really. I never wanted to know anything, and I'm still a bit like that now. I wait till like weeks after, and then I'll ask me questions. At that time, I didn't want to know anything. All I was interested in is getting better. I was scared to come out of hospital. I just wouldn't come out because I was saying, no, you know, you're telling me I've got cancer and you're telling me to go home for 2 weeks and come back. You know, so I refused to come out of hospital because I was just terrified. But then I started getting my head around things, and seeing my daughter just pick me up all the time. Just seeing Tanika just made me realise, no, you've got to get up and get on with it because you've got a little girl to look after. So I can't let cervical cancer take over my life.
Did they say that it was unusual for a 20-year-old?
Yeah, they told me it was an old woman's cancer. So that made me think, well, I'm 20, you know, how's it an old woman's cancer if I'm 20 years of age? You know, it's affected me, you know, so it is out there and it's affecting young women.
So the last 3 years, what have you been through?
The last 3 years, God, I've had radiotherapy. I've had 3 lots of different courses of chemo. I'm going through my 3rd lot of chemo now. I've had 2 major life-threatening operations, and at the moment now I'm still going through treatment at the moment, so no one knows what the future holds.
How do you carry on?
My daughter and my friends and my family. Just got to get on with it, haven't you? You can't think to yourself, well, give up, because you can't give up. You've just got to stay strong and get on with it and think, no, it's not beating me, I'm beating it. That's what I always say.
Just tell us about the campaigns that you're launching.
The campaign that I'm doing is to try and change the law for the age of smears from 25 to even 20 or 18. Because if I would have had a smear at 20 or 18, it would have just picked up abnormal cells, and I probably would have just gone through a simple hysterectomy or laser treatment. I wouldn't have had to have gone through these 3 years of my life that I've been ruined, and half of my body's been ruined through it, and it's affecting young girls out there that they need to realise a smear is very important. You need your smear. It picks up if there's any abnormalities going wrong down below, you know, and it shouldn't cost money on a life. You shouldn't put money on a life. If you need a smear, you need a smear. You should never be refused a smear.
Is it girls, women themselves that you want to sort of remind?
Girls and women,
or is it
all of ages, because as well the problem is when I'm like looking on things, it's like there's women out there who are of age and they're not going for the smears because they're just probably too scared, or you know, just don't know what's going to come of it. But it can save your life. That's what you've got to realise. A smear can save your life.
And the law itself, how do you feel about the fact that, you know, smear tests don't become routine till you hit 25?
I don't agree with it. I think it should be lower age, because if I've been hit at 20 with cervical cancer, what's to say that it won't happen to somebody else at a younger age? Because my tumour was the size of an orange, so it had been growing for a long time. So it could have been there from when I was younger, from 18, you know, so...
And just tell us about the campaign and the fundraising and everything that you know want to do around that.
Well, now I want to do awareness. I want to change the law. I want to do a lot of things. And I want to do a lot of fundraising to raise money for the YOU, where we are now, because it is just amazing here. The God's workers, I'm telling you, on here, they're amazing. And I'd love to just do a lot of fundraising events and charity events, pub parties, and just do everything to get people aware out there of cervical cancer and smears, and that the law needs to be changed.
So if there was just one thing you could say to people, what would you say?
Look out for any symptoms if you have any, and just be aware. You know, not saying you've got cancer, but, you know, just be aware that cervical cancer is out there and it can happen. So if you are of age as well and you can go for a smear, go for your smear and don't be scared.